Hello everyone, my name is Kamal and welcome to our channel. If you're new out here, consider liking and subscribing the video. Today we would be taking a deep dive into Lit protocol and especially GetLit CLI tool, which is used for creating Lit actions. So yeah, this is my new PFP, and yeah, so let's take a jump into what today we would be looking at. So what is basically Lit protocol? Before starting the video, so Lit protocol is a protocol which provides you with uh, encryption of your keys. uh, in the words of uh, in the words of the documentation, if we go, they say it's a distributed cryptography for encryption, compute, and programmable signing. As a generalized key management layer, Lit provides developers with a comprehensive toolkit for managing sovereign identities on the open web, which which in short terms means that it provide the Lit protocol provides you a mechanism to encrypt your keys, so that you can basically apply encryption for your documents. Uh, so yeah, this is for encryption, and you can do many things with Lit protocol, and it has got like many use cases as we can see here. Its use cases in DeFi for conditional transaction execution. So, for example, in any DeFi, if you want to execute a transaction, then you can encrypt those documents in whatever way you want, and that whatever way you want could be achieved with Lit actions. Okay, so yeah. And there are many other use cases like Web3 social. Of course, we know we need private data in social apps. Also, token gated video streamings, gaming, yeah, many other. So, for getting started, we have some of the things like Lit SDK, encryption, Lit CLI, API references. So, in this video, we would be taking a look at the Lit CLI. So, it looks something like this. So let's see what are Lit actions and how Lit CLI helps us. So Lit actions are basically they are just JavaScript programs which help you to execute the encryption of your keys in whichever way you want. Right. In the words of documentation, it says they can be used to specify signing and authentication logic for the PKPs. PKPs stand for programmable key pairs. So you can generate programmable key pairs, PKPs, and then use Lit actions on top of them to basically encrypt the data in whichever way you want. Why is encryption required? So encryption of the documents is required. Like when you store on IPFS, though you are storing very decentralized way, but since they're not encrypted, anyone can use it. But for important things like research papers and many other important documents, you need to encrypt them. So yeah, Lit protocol helps you with that, and the different ways in which to specify the signing and the authentication logic, we can use GetLit CLI tool. So today we are going to see how we can use GetLit CLI. Okay, so yeah, this is the documentation which we would be referring to. I will also drop the link in the description. Also, there's a repo which is called Lit in Action that I made for this video. We would be following this. And not to get overwhelmed, this is very easy. We would be taking a step by step and on how even a newbie can get started on creating Lit actions using GetLit CLI tool. So first of all, like there's a main branch, which is the completed branch. You can also go to the dev branch, which is pretty new. Or you can just get started by just going into the VS Code. So once you are in a fresh VS Code environment, just go to the docs and install the GetLit CLI tool globally. So, so what this command does is it install the GetLit CLI tool globally, so so that you can use it freely. Uh, even the readme mentions. So feel free to uh, dive in and jump in this code whenever you feel stuck. So once so it says like it was installed. So once it gets installed, what you can do is you can just press GetLit, and then it would, okay. So let me increase it. So yeah, this is beautiful. So when you will type GetLit for the confirmation that it was installed successfully, it would show this. And here are the basically the commands that you can use to uh, get started with GetLit. So at the start, you would like to create a project. So so for creating a for initializing a new lit project, you have to type getlit action. So once you type in getlit action, it would ask you to install in the project in which directory. Just press and enter. So yeah, as you can see that the project was installed. It says it was installed in lit actions. So there would be a folder created by the name lit slash actions. So which has all the code for the lit actions. Okay. Now, since our this means that our project was initialized, our new project was initialized. Now, what we can do is like build your lit actions with getlit build. Okay. Let's take a dive in like what are the files. Also, I would try to zoom in so that you can see it very carefully. So currently we have two functions which are like these are not functions, these are like actions, uh, basically the lit actions. And then we have a test folder which contains the test for these two actions. We have a getlit.json which has like two parameters, authsig and pkp public key. We have utils. So utils is the main file in which the lit action command is being run. So basically, yeah, um, not to take much, but this basically sets the client and the lit.js SDK. We will take a look at how that is being done. But at this step, something gets tricky, which I would like to show, which is like when you will start like so getlit actions, so that initializes the new lit project, but getlit build builds your lit action. So if I type getlit build, it would give me a validation error. Okay, so I don't know if the team has made this knowingly, but so it says that there's an error in the file foo.action. Okay, so since it builds the action, so it has got one error which is in here. So the error basically here is that you have to provide name instead of name. So it also does, but it's a little bit tricky. So now if you try to build it, so the build would be successful. Okay, so once the build is successful, you will see that there's an uh, output folder generated with the actions. Okay, so there has been like two actions, and this is like main and the foo.action. So the main action basically signs. Now let's take a look into what the action do. Okay, so as we earlier saw that lit actions are nothing but just JavaScript programs which are a way to use the PKPs. Okay, so what we are doing is like we are first declaring the a type of signed data which is like an array of numbers. Then the hello world, we are declaring a constant hello world of the type signed data, which means that it would have an array of numbers, and then we are declaring a bunch of numbers. And why we are calling hello world to it, you can find the answer in this readme. We are calling hello world because the ASCII codes of those characters match with these numbers. So we are which are like 70 to 101, and you would see that these are in order. So this makes the hello world. Then there's a function which calls lit actions dot sign ECDSA. Uh, so it's an encryption mechanism. So lit actions are encrypting it and providing these as the parameters. So once that is done, then a console.log statement is being shared. So now that our build was successful, we discovered like two commands. We discovered every command, like getlit init was discovered, getlit build. If you want to create a new action, you can very well create with getlit new. Uh, and then the name of the action. Okay, this creates a new lit action. So getlit new, let me just type my name in it. So you can also create an action. Now what this command is, like getlit new, the name of the action. So what this command did was getlit new Kamal, it did was like it created an action in the source folder with the name kamal.action.ts, and it has like a very basic signing action, and then it also generated a test file for it for testing. So whatever is under the test folder, these are for testing the actions. Okay. So yeah, an action generates and a test generates. So this was about creating a new lit action. And if you want to test an action, you can test it via getlit test. Now let's try testing it too. So once you type getlit test, okay. So let's type in getlit test, and it would say uh, getlit.json, which is empty right now. Yeah, which is right. We just saw back then that getlit.json had two parameters which are empty right now, right? So what to do now? So now we can type in getlit setup. Okay. So what would getlit setup do? Getlit setup would generate the values for these. So let me type in getlit setup. So yeah, it generates an auth. Okay, it asks me to connect. Okay, since it was all on the server side, and the lit.js SDK runs on the client side, but we are working for the actions on the server side. So the setup asks you to connect your MetaMask. Now my MetaMask should be connected. Like there should be a pop-up. Yeah, so the pop-up comes in, and I can connect my one of my accounts, and then it asks me to sign in a request. Okay, so after signing this request, that auth sig that the parameter which was incomplete would be completed by this. And let me just sign in. So I just signed in, and what this did was like I no. Okay, so you can now. So this would be like to get your authsig and PKP public key. We are doing all this, and let's say we want to mint our PKP. So PKP stands for programmable key pairs. So it takes like 0 lit, and we are on Chronicle lit protocol testnet. You can easily add that. So we are now minting our PKP. So once it gets minted, so yeah, you will have your this this is your PKP, right? And you can select it, right? So this gets selected, and once that gets selected, so what you can do is this was the authsig that we needed. You can copy it from here and put it in the into the getlit.json file, and here you can put the public key. Okay, so once these things are done, you can just you can close this. And with this your configurations are set, and now you can test your lit actions. So let's say we type getlit test, and it asks you that which action do you want to test. Like, do you want to test the foo one or the main one? You can type in anyone. Like, let me test the foo one. So let me show you what's happening behind the scenes. So Yeah, this is all the behind scenes are done by utils, and what utils does is it checks whether we have the packages that we are needed, that we need. So we don't have the lit node client node.js, so it installs, and you can see that package.json was generated, and with the this dependency, and this dependency was installed with the help of utils. And then after it is installed, it says now run the test. So let's run now the test. So we ran the test, and yeah, it gave us the results. And let's see the results. If uh, if this is how you will test your actions, right? So initially it says like we are testing this file, the foo.t.actions.mjs. Okay, then experimental warnings and some things, but like take a look at this. We are using this auth seg. Okay, and then you can take a look at the result that we get. This is the response. Okay, so these responses that we are getting it from the lit nodes, right? So all the different nodes of lit, they give us responses. So all of them are giving us success and true. Same wise we can test the other contract, which was the main contract also. Right, so this is how like you can see what it's returning. So it's using that public key and that. So now we saw how we can initialize our project, how can we can build our actions, how we can create a new lit action, how we can test it. We also have features like watch, which is similar to the nodemon, where you test and you write the code simultaneously so that the testing keeps up. The setup, we saw that it is used for getting the auth and the PKP, which are needed for building the actions. And then we have like GetLit docs and GetLit help. GetLit help basically shows you the uh, let me clear it, and GetLit help basically would show you this model which tells you about the different actions that you can perform. Pretty efficient. And then there's a like a GetLit docs. We will open in your web browser. Okay, so if it doesn't open, just go to the link, and it would open getlit.dev. So this would basically be the documentation of the lit protocol that we earlier saw, and this is how you can create and build your lit actions very easily using the GetLit CLI tool. Very efficient. And yeah, this is how you build actions. Now also, if you have seen like when we were testing out getlit test, and then the kamal was not coming. Why? Because we did not build. And if we now build getlit build, then the kamal would also be built, and it should be in the out folder. Just saw that how it came. Let me just zoom in. Okay, and now if you try to test it like getlit test, then only that, yeah, kamal is shown, right? So yeah, that is how you create a new lit actions and test it. And yeah, that is pretty much it. The getlit.json was a tricky part. I had to go through a lot of hours in experimenting, but this is how you go through it. So just making your life easy. um, there's there's an example given in the documentation uh, about the installing of the SDK and getting the PKPs. Also, there's an explorer of the Lit protocol, which which helps you explore and mint and create actions. You can also do this with the setup, GetLit setup. But yeah, you can mint here PKPs. And just to show you, I had minted a PKP, and you have to authorize the actions to it. For example, this PKP was generated, and I authorized this lit action, which was stored on IPFS. And if I load the code, which is only available if I connect my wallet, right? So this was my lit action code that I generated. You can also create your actions just by going through this explorer. Just like here are some examples, and you can also write your code here, right? And yeah, pretty much easy. Upload to IPFS, you can directly upload. And this also a newsletter, which I will give a link in the description, which you can read more about if you want to have a blog form. Uh, but yeah, this was pretty much it. Uh, it's pretty efficient. Again, uh, just saying before closing that lit actions, they can be used to specify signing and authentication logic for the PKPs. So when you use PKPs with lit actions, you can make tremendous use cases, and we have seen many uh, integrations of lit with different protocols like ceramic and IPFS that you can find in the documentation by going here. Example projects like ceramic, cloudflare, node.js, many things. Okay, so that was much about the video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.